Okay, welcome to another shop talk, and today it's going to be collecting the biggest walnut log certainly that I've ever bought, possibly that I've ever seen sawn in the UK. So I'm really excited about it. I bought this log probably 2 or 3 months ago, and today's the day to get it cut up and bring it back home. And it's also just snapped into the feel of winter today. Not sure what the temperature is outside, but it feels really cold. So yesterday, this week is the week between some trade shows, and yesterday I spent kind of a little bit of the day, if you watch my Instagram you'll see it, a little bit of the day building a shed or kind of little unit for my extractor, which is now outside in my barn. I'm really worried about it freezing up or just getting really damp, so I've kind of built this quick little shed thing on a base which I can lift up with a forklift and move if I decide to move the extractor at some point or whatever. So that's what I've been doing, and the next job is going to be building the kiln. So I'm going to build a kiln quite small, relatively small. It's going to be long, so it can take a whole tree, but it's really just for me, so I'm not actually going to be drying wood to sell, certainly not at this point. So rather than building a great big kiln which takes ages to load, needs bigger motors, bigger electric, all this business, I'm going to build a small one basically on a kind of torsion box. It's going to be 2 sheets of ply, 1 deep, 2 wide, so that I can pick it up again with a forklift. It can go outside. I haven't got anywhere to store it in my barn really. For now it's going to be in the barn, but eventually it's going to have a little roof on it. It's going to go outside and I can move it around. I'm going to have quite a small dehumidifying kiln. I'm going to put a little drawing up on a rough sketch up. This is just roughly what I was thinking of doing, and possibly the unit I'm going to be using as a dehumidifier and heater. I'm going to put an extra fan in there as well. I'd love to get your feedback. Again, this is not to be drying wood to sell in bulk. This is just to get some of the oak that I've got coming down so that I can start using it a little bit sooner. One of the other purposes of building a smaller kiln is that I've got wood, as you can see, stored in the barn, which is say air dried. If it's going to have resin or it's a very damp time of year, I often just put the planks or the slabs in the kiln just to get them down before I build the furniture. So I'd love your input and feedback on anything to do with the kiln. I'm going to have 2 swinging doors. I'm not sure, I might start by just making them out of ply and then maybe get my son to fabricate some steel ones. I want to keep it light, and they're going to be wide. They're going to be, I don't know, maybe 600 high at least, and each one's going to be 2.4 meters wide, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to stand up over time on the hinges, but we'll see. So one of the things that I get asked about, where'd you get your wood and stuff like that, luckily those questions have slowed down a little bit, because obviously you get your wood from contacts and from people that you met. But one of the things is, so this walnut tree which I've bought, we've got no idea. I've had to buy it without it being cut. Now, this wasn't sold to me by the woodyard. This was, someone dropped it off at the woodyard looking for someone to buy it, and they called me, luckily. If you're just buying the odd tree and expecting to use that for for the foreseeable future, if you're just doing projects at home, it's probably not worth taking a risk buying a tree without it being cut, because you could end up with a load of rubbish, and it could be a very expensive lot of firewood. So when you're buying your slabs and your wood, there's a few ways. I've said this before about buying it. So the kind of most cost-effective way, if you've got the machinery and the skills or the time, whatever, is to get it in the field. If you see a dead tree in the field, go up to the farmer. Does he want to get rid of it? You can handle all of it. Maybe you'll get this telehandler to load it for you, I don't know. That's the kind of cheapest way. Get it to a sawmill or use your Alaskan mill, whatever, or have it milled in the field. That's kind of the cheapest. You may even get it for free or close to free. The next one is buying it. So it's already been cut down. Tree surgeons trying to get it rather than turn it into wood or chip-ins. That's another good way of buying it. Both of those ways risk, obviously, the tree being rotten in the middle or something wrong with it, or even there's metal in it and you take it to the sawmill and you've got to pay for a blade. So that's the other risk with that. And then the other way is buying it planked. Then you can see what you're getting, and that's probably the best way if you're starting out and you want to use all this wood, stick it in your garage, and you want to be able to use it all over time. get different thicknesses for legs, slabs, tops, whatever. That's a good way to start, get a whole tree. It can be a lot of fun. This case, as I said, now this is quite exciting because it cost me a lot of money, this walnut tree, and I don't know what it looks like in the middle. So buying it like now, we don't know what's in the middle, is pretty kind of exciting, nerve-wracking, because it could be a lot of money for a lot of firewood. Now I know people have been going on about not liking river tables, not liking resin. Well, at the moment, for me, that's where my kind of, you know, my orders are coming. That's where my interest is coming from. So you're not going to see me changing anything anytime soon. And that's the good thing about, if there's a load of rot in the middle of this, I know I can still use it. Before resin, we would have been cutting around the rot. With resin, we're using the rot as a feature. So pretty exciting. Anyway, I'm here at the mill. No one likes to be filmed at the mill, so which I do not blame them. So you're not going to see the camera point at anyone, but I'm going to do my best to set up a tripod so you can see how this thing cuts. I'm also really excited about it. Let's get going. That's a big tree. Amazing. What do you reckon? So we're getting a hole up on the top. That hole there, on the top. Look at that. So it's looking pretty nice here. Not a great start. Already had a blade change. This is what's in there. So we found 3 of those and one of these. Nightmare. It's just, yeah, what can I say? It's going to be a nice slab. It's about 2.8 meters. Struggling to decide which thickness to go for. 62 at the moment. I think I might be a bit strong on that. Maybe I'll go down to 50. Just over, let's go 60. hope we get on with it. And let's see how big. I knew there was a hole. Let's see how deep that is. Right in the middle, but anyway. That's the only one. Looks like resin heaven. Okay, that's that ordeal over. They really persevered well at the wood yard there at the sawmill. It did turn out to be a nightmare. Now, in terms of the walnut, you'll see some pictures coming up. It is absolutely epic, especially the stuff in the middle. I knew there was a hole at the top, so the first few slabs have got a hole, but as you know, we're going to use resin at some point possibly, so it's not a problem. But cut the boards at 62mm. We just hit screw after screw after screw, and it's the kind of modern screw fix type screw, nothing old. And I think there was 4 blade changes. It was a nightmare. Eventually got to the middle, and we had about 5 planks out that are beautiful, virtually no holes and no screws. And we got right near the end, and then we hit like what I would call a historic nail, 2 nails on the last cut, which are half in the board, half in the outer bark. So they persevered. I felt really bad, but hey ho, what can you do? We went and had a coffee, chilled out, and I'm back on the road. But it should have been about 20-30 minute job with that beast. Ended up taking nearly 2 hours. So really good of the woodyard to persevere. Ranhold's absolutely awesome. So back to base, recover from that, and then get these things stacked up at the weekend with my son, get them stickered up and get them racked, and then kind of forget about them at least for 60mm, so at least for 2 years. And then I'm going to have my kiln up and running, and you'll see these bad boys in some furniture, if you're still subscribing, that is. Alright, back to base. I'll speak to you later.